How is your if we are single by 30, we're getting married friend doing? This is actually my time to shine. I met Lisa when I was in high school through a mutual friend. Lisa lived about 4 hours, but we kept in touch by writing letters. This was in the 1980s. We met up for a spring break trip at the beach and got along well since we hadn't seen each other in several years. We both went to different colleges and dated on and off some during our college years. After college we dated, then she went to Germany for 3 years. We'd see each other casually when she'd come home, but nothing serious. When she came back home from Germany, we started seeing each other again. We made a pact that if we were not married by 30, we'd get married. We drifted apart a bit at 29 years old, and we were both dating other people. She ended up marrying the person she was dating, and I ended up marrying the person I was dating. We both went to each other's weddings with our respective SOs. We'd meet as couples and go to dinner sometimes, and once vacation together for a long weekend. Our kids went to the same school for a while, too. Then we lost touch for about 5 years, until one day I ran into Lisa at a local Starbucks. I heard someone call my name and it was Lisa. We hugged and caught up for a while. I then asked her how her husband was doing, and she said they split up about a year ago. She asked about my wife, and I told her we split about 10 months ago. We looked at each other and I asked her if she'd meet me for coffee the next day, and she immediately said yes. We dated for several years and got married in December 2021. I had a friend in middle/high school that told me we should make a marriage pact. If we weren't married by 30, we'd get married. I lost contact with her after high school because she had a scary, jealous boyfriend. She randomly added me on Facebook and asked for my phone number. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I sent it. She sent me a very graphic photo of herself and said, "Hey, it's me, Chrissy." And I was like, hot damn. We talked for a bit that day, but that was our only real conversation. She had brought up our pact and we joked about it for a bit. A few months later she messaged me asking if she can use my shower because her water got shut off. I thought that was unusual, so I just told her it wasn't a good time. That's happened to me before, and I'd normally message a family member or close friend. A couple days later she posted a video of her and some dude, not her old boyfriend, smoking crack under a freeway overpass. She had a bandana on her face and they filmed themselves smoking, head banging to music, thinking they looked badass. I felt really bad for her at that point. Then I wondered if I had let her use my shower, if she would have robbed me with her cholo-looking boyfriend. Not too long after that, her boyfriend started posting online that she was missing and he can't locate her. 2 weeks after that he changed his status to single on Facebook, and I still haven't heard from my childhood friend. I hope she's okay out there. Really hope she can get her shit together and get clean. Ours was 35 actually. She lives a few states away. She lives with her ex-boyfriend, because her current boyfriend still lives with his mom. She has an animal addiction. She can't say no when someone wants to sell her a living creature. She has dogs, cats, rats, snakes, sugar gliders, fish, and other random stuff to round out her zoo. She can't work because of her anxiety. Except she totally had a job for like 6 years, but complained through that whole time that she couldn't work. She wants to go on disability, but just thought she could go in, get on it by filing some paperwork, and that was it. She doesn't trust doctors, so she has no documented proof of all of her ailments. She is broke. The ex and the current boyfriend pay all of her bills. She sits at home and takes care of all these pets all day, and is generally a drain on society. But she complains about always being broke. So in other words, I dodged a fucking bullet. Not quite the same, but I know a guy that in his late 20s realized he was ready to get married. Hadn't had a girlfriend in years. But he recalled a friend he had in his late teens, maybe early 20s. Anyways, he thought, wow, this girl could potentially be a great wife, and started thinking about her in a different light than he had in the past. Anyway, he decides to write her a letter and said something to the effect of, "Hey, this might seem odd, but I was recently thinking through life and feel like I'm at a point that I would like to get married. When I started thinking about women that I thought would be great to be married to, you were the first to come to mind. If you are interested in reconnecting, let me know. If not, no worries at all. I apologize if this is uncomfortable or too straightforward." She was very flattered, and they started dating shortly after, followed up by marriage within a year. We made a pact like that when we were teenagers. She moved away to college and went crazy sexually. She would call every week or so with some new exploit. Threesomes, foursomes, moresomes. Her and two, then three, then four guys. Whenever she called with a "did I ever tell you how I wanted to," that meant she'd done it. It kept getting crazier. It hurt to hear her brag about that stuff. I really liked the girl, and although we'd never so much as kissed, imagined we'd probably end up together. But all that stuff ruined her for me. She was for the streets, as the kids say. Anyway, she went on to collect a ton of degrees, does something in medicine. Around 15 years ago, I was 27 or so, and she called after losing touch for a year or two. She said she was dating someone and wanted me to meet him. They made plans to come to my town. They show up and he's a nice enough guy. We grabbed dinner, the three of us, and he said he was tired or something and left us out to chat. We spent hours talking, drinking and walking the city, and she tells me that he proposed. She said she told him before she said yes, she wanted to run it by me. She asks if I ever saw us together and would be willing to give it a shot. I couldn't believe it, and he had to know she was going to ask me when he left dinner. I told her that ship had sailed and I thought she should marry him. By now they've got 3 kids, I think. We every now and then text, but are living very different lives. We stopped talking before either of us turned 30, and it was for the best. She had been living in Colorado for quite a while at the time I ended our friendship, working as a cam girl. She was very attractive, and probably still is. I had really lost a lot of respect for her, as well as lost a lot of desire to talk to her. Our whole friendship boiled down to her calling me, or inviting me to lunches when we lived in the same state, to talk to me about her relationships. She would just talk and talk and talk and talk, rarely letting me get any words in, asking me for advice on what to do about her boyfriends, and then never doing anything I suggested. It was incredibly weird, and I stopped initiating any conversations with her after a while. She came home and hit me up one weekend that my brother was throwing a party, so I invited her to come along. She spent the entire party telling everyone she met, including my sister, that she was totally in love with me and that we were eventually going to get married, holding my hand all night everywhere we went. And when we left the party, she decided to sleep at my place. In my bed. Wearing outrageously skimpy, lacy underwear. Over the course of the night we eventually cuddled up, and in the morning, having no other idea what to do as a single, straight male that currently had a hot, nearly naked girl basically laying on top of me, I made a move. After a couple of minutes of intense making out, she makes some excuse as to why she has to leave, and takes off. We didn't talk again for months after this, and I was fine with it. I never really had feelings for her in the first place. I didn't understand our relationship at all, and I was completely okay without her in my life. But one morning I wake up to a couple of texts from her drunkenly telling me that she was mad at me for trying to hook up with her. And I just fucking lost it. I told her off as hard as I could for her bullshit behavior and ended a gigantic rant with the coldest line I could possibly think of. "I'll always care about you, Abby, but I don't think we should talk anymore." And despite her best efforts, I never talked to her again.